Welcome, everybody, yet another episode of the Wrestling vs. the World podcast. If you're all enjoying your day, sweet. If not, then what the hell ever. So, I've got another pay-per-view review to bring in here, and it is one I had been waiting to do because it is regarded as one of the greatest pay-per-views in WWE history. SummerSlam 2002. Let's go over this. I'm going to give some of the backstories as we go along for some of these matches. So, opening match, Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio. So, Rey had been around for like a few months, like 2 or 3 months-ish, somewhere around there. Because, like, he came over to WWE, got the mask back on and everything, and he had been becoming a thorn in Kurt Angle's side. So, they got the match going on. I can't remember if this was before or after Kurt cut that promo where he's like, oh, playing with little boys, or whatever that whole thing was. But, opening the show, and this was a really, really damn good way to start everything off. You remember moments like Rey, like, trying to go after Kurt Angle who's on the outside, the referee gets in the way, so instead, Rey, above the referee, who's bent over between the top and middle ropes, decides to fly over the ref and go to Kurt Angle anyway. Really good chemistry between these two. At the end, Kurt got ready to tap out to the ankle lock. Very, very, very good opening to the show. Clean match, 9 minutes. You can't go wrong with this. These two, there's a reason why these two are like labeled as some of the best, and especially these two being 2 out of the SmackDown 6 names. That would really bring SmackDown up as we close out 2002. So, really, really good start to this show. Now, the second match, Ric Flair, Chris Jericho. They had a bit of a thrown together feud there because, like, I know they had to scramble with plans after what happened with Stone Cold, which I'll cover in the next match in a little bit. But Flair, they took away the whole Raw GM or Raw ownership type of ordeal that was going on. And he's feuding with Jericho. They had the whole thing about destroying the Fozzy set and everything, and speakers. There's bloodshed and all that. So you got the match here. For almost 10.5 minute match, it was fine. But my biggest gripe that they had here was the finish, because we would see this repeated pattern with Ric Flair where during the match he's going to work on your legs to make sure the figure 4 leg lock is as damaging and painful as possible to that vulnerable legs. And Flair did next to no damage, like targeting Jericho's legs before putting on the figure 4 leg lock and still making Jericho tap out. Like that was just a frustrating thing personally, because it's like, that defies the logic. It's like, your finisher should be, like, when it's a submission hold, should be done after you've damaged a body part enough to where it's going to make your move the most effective. And he didn't really do that, and he still won. Like, it was baffling. Like, it was a fine match, but it's just like, it could have been better. Now, the next match is the only match I don't have a match graphic for, and trust me, I've looked. Edge versus Eddie Guerrero. So, Bruce Pritchard, I did hear him say on his podcast that the original plan for SummerSlam was going to be Stone Cold and Eddie. But when Stone Cold walked out, everything went like haywire. Eddie, he was bouncing back and forth between like being on Raw or SmackDown and the draft and these technicalities. So he went over to SmackDown, and now he's feuding with Edge instead. Now, one of the biggest things we kept seeing in the match is Eddie going after Edge's left arm and shoulder and everything to kind of weaken him up. And it's just like, that became the focal point. At one point, he even got a 5-star, or not a 5-star, but still a frog splash onto Edge's arm. So it's like, he's really working on that to try to lessen the spear, which is one of Edge's multiple finishers. I mean, like, he still hadn't gone to the spear category as, like, the definitive finisher compared to, like, the execution or anything, but there was still a move that was being dangerous. And despite the fact that Edge's left shoulder was being worked on, and this was one that personally irritated me, he still did the spear with the left arm, and it was like, kind of like gripping his arm a little bit, like, oh, that hurt, and then still covered to win. It's just like, you would think that when you have a body part worked on, you don't want to use it. It's like, hey, like, if you got a finisher that involves a body part that's been hurt like that, you'll want to do something else. Like, I know, like, the guys over at OSW Review, they mentioned that, like, with Jericho and William Regal for WrestleMania X7, Jericho's shoulder was so attacked and damaged that instead of using the walls of Jericho, he decided to go with a different move, being the Lion Salt, to actually win the match. Because it's like, hey, you can't really do it because of your submission hold, because it's affecting your body part that was worked on. And you would think they would go with this logic here too, but it's just like, Like, it was still a really good match, but it's just like, that's my gripe with just this one, Now, the next one, the tag match. The Un-Americans, Christian and Lance Storm defending the tag titles against Booker T and Goldust. This is not the only time we would see the Un-Americans on the show, but it became one of those typical America versus anti-America stories, which they've been really done to death. I think we can all be kind of in agreement here, which should have been one of my biggest pet peeves as well with the previous episode. It's just like this whole overplayed USA, anti-USA thing. But this was like early on into the Booker T Goldust tag run. Like, I know this was a couple months after they finally started teaming because Booker T got kicked out of the NWO. So this was going on. It was a fine match. Nothing that you really remember from the show. This is probably like the least memorable match. Nothing against anybody involved. Just being a bit of a reminder here. But the Un-Americans retained. It was whatever. Then the next one. For the Intercontinental Championship, which it was not only for the Intercontinental Championship, but also decided which brand this championship goes to. Rob Van Dam challenging Chris Benoit for the IC title. So, Benoit, he had won the title from Rob Van Dam on an episode of Raw. He cheated and everything. It's like he's a heel now, like ever since he returned from his neck injury. And then afterwards, Benoit went over to SmackDown to be SmackDown exclusive. So, hey, he brought the Intercontinental Championship with him. So, now, as a whole interpromotional brand thing, Van Dam is getting his rematch against Benoit. So if Van Dam wins, title's back on Raw. If Benoit retains, it stays on SmackDown. And this was a really great match. I think, this was one of those forgotten Intercontinental Championship matches, probably because of who the champion was going into this match, and we all know that controversy. But this was still a great match. It felt a little weird to see Van Dam actually put Benoit temporarily in his own crossface. But, I mean, these two gelled really, really well, and at the end, Van Dam got the 5-star Frog Splash, won back the Intercontinental Championship, and now it's back over on Raw. Even though then if a couple months later it will be gone, and there will be no Mid-Card Championships again until Judgment Day. But still a great match overall. I really enjoyed it. Now we get to the match that I feel was the worst match of the night. Undertaker Test. Once again, recycling a whole America versus Un-America type thing. Test is the Un-Americans. Undertaker, American badass. He wants to fight for America because dead man walking. This, it was a mad match. It's like these two are no slouches. I can outright admit that these you would think they would have had at least had a solid match. Because Test, he can work with big guys. You look at No Mercy the year prior when he went against Kane, who his in-ring style is pretty much similar to the Undertaker. You would think they would get a solid match because, again, Test Kane had a solid match the year prior. But Undertaker Test here, for some reason, it just did not quite work. I don't know why. And then my phone goes off. I just don't know why it just did not quite click here. They both can go against other people. Undertaker, you put him against guys like Shawn Michaels or Triple H or even Kane himself in the earlier days before 2010 stuff started happening. Or you go with Test, you can put him against guys like Shane. One-on-one, that would have really good matches there. Against Brock and others like that. But it's these two together just did not quite click. Undertaker would win, so yay, America! But it's just I believe he won with the Tombstone, if I remember served me correctly, but it's just it was just there. It was just there, and I'm sorry, but this match is just a disappointment. But then you turn things around big time. Because the next match, the big one here, not quite the main event just yet, but Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in an unsanctioned match. Because, oh man, we got history here. So, Shawn, we covered this not too long ago in the NWO episode, where Shawn, he had been gone for about a year and a half because, he had his drug issues and everything. He got born again, cleaned himself up and everything, which is awesome. So, he came back in 2002 because, he made peace with everybody, with Triple H and all. And now he's in the NWO, which got cut short because Kevin Nash tearing his quad and all that. So Shawn, he decides he wants to bring Triple H over to Raw. Be like, hey, you don't need to go to SmackDown with your now ex-wife. Because at Vengeance, that's when the divorce was finalized. But you can come to Raw and we can reform DX. So Triple H decided to do that. But then when they were trying to reform DX, that's when Triple H drops Shawn Michaels with the pedigree. And it's just oh my god, why would Triple H do that? And Triple H admits that, hey, I used Shawn to get it to the top while he used me to stay at the top. And, we were never really friends. Ugh. And they try the whole whodunit type of storyline where Shawn Michaels got attacked backstage in the parking lot. His head got smashed into a window. They're like, oh, who could have done this? And Triple H tried to feign sympathy and be like, oh, who would attack my best friend? Well, footage showed on the camera, which I'm glad Brian Zane also brought up as a problem when he talked about this, saying like, hey, you can't really take a choppy video clip and then suddenly enhance it to make it crystal clear. Like, not even 2002, let alone now, but it showed that, hey, Triple H was actually behind the attack, and he was like, yeah, I did it, damn it, because I want to prove that you, Shawn, were weak. Ugh. So this leads to Shawn then laying out the challenge, which Triple H laughed off, being like, you can't wrestle anymore. You're done. You're finished. HBK is dead. But Shawn's just like, I'm having the match no matter what, and Eric Bischoff said, legally, this match will never happen, but Triple H said, oh, it will happen. So it's an unsanctioned match. And I know this was technically Shawn's first match in the last couple of years because he had a hardcore match in his own wrestling academy. The video's out there. But at least in terms of a full-blown bumping, back-and-forth, story-driven match, this is his first one in the past 4 years. Because outside of the match I just mentioned, he hadn't had a full-blown match, like, outside of just standing around and swinging weapons and everything, since WrestleMania 14. And I know the big concern was like, hey, can Shawn still go? How's his back and everything? And these two tore the house down. 5-star best match of the night, one of the best matches of the year. Because like Triple H, being smart, he was being ruthless and vicious, just going after that surgically repaired and damaged back of Shawn. Being like with using the steel chair and whipping him with belts and everything. They used steel steps. They brought out a ladder and a table. Shawn jumping off the top to splash Triple H through the table at ringside. Like, and even jumping off the top of the ladder with the elbow drop. Like, this match was unbelievable. And, like, one of the best moments I remember in there, just because, like, how they drew the crowd in. Shawn, after getting his back worked on, he, like, did that flying forearm. After a moment, kicked back up and started jumping up and down. And the crowd just came unglued. This seemed to be like, yes, they're believing in this. He's getting this comeback and everything. And at the end, Shawn, he tries to go for sweet chin music, but Triple H ducked it. Tried to go for the pedigree, but then Triple H, while he's all bloody and everything, he gets put into the jackknife roll-up. So it's just like, he gets put in the jackknife roll-up. He's trying so hard to kick out, but it's not working. 1, 2, 3, that's it. And Shawn wins the match. So it's like, he beats Triple H, who, like, was trying, like I said, his hardest with all of his remaining energy to try to kick out, but it just did not work. But then Triple H got the last laugh, because then he delivered 2 sledgehammer shots to the back of Shawn to get him sent out on a stretcher. So, like I said, 5 stars out of 5 match of the night here. Absolutely fantastic. It's like, if you did not know that Shawn had a match 2 years prior, and you did not know that, like, he had been completely away from everything, like, struggling and everything, he hadn't had a match prior to this, he might have ring rust. If you did not know all these factoids and everything, you would think that he had not stopped wrestling since then, like people have been saying in interviews since then. It's like the Shawn Michaels of old is still there, and he's still a top performer. And I think he said, like, he was having, like, self-confidence issues going into this, like, being worried that he would be able to go. But it's just like, hey, those worries went away when the match kept going, because, like, this was stellar. And then you get to the main event. Brock Lesnar challenging The Rock for the undisputed WWE Championship. So Brock, he won King of the Ring, and because of, like, everything that changed that once again after Stone Cold walked out, the rule was made that whoever wins King of the Ring gets a shot at the championship at SummerSlam, which they follow that rule now, but like or 2002, but they aren't doing it now, hint hint. So Brock, he's the next big thing, and he's going after The Rock for the championship. He destroyed Hulk Hogan on SmackDown and made him pass out with a bear hug and made him bleed from the mouth and chair shot and everything. He's been just wrecking everybody since he got up to the main roster. And now he's going against The Rock. They're doing these training montages, being like ice bath and running back and forth on bleachers or whatever. So it gets that big fight feel to it, and you gotta love it. So The Rock is babyface champion going here. Brock is a heel, and these two had really, really great chemistry. I'm sad that they did not have another one-on-one match of this. I think they were supposed to have done another one at 30, but The Rock getting injured at 29 and like that affecting his future to completely change those plans. But these two did great together. Like, both of them, like, at one point got a double down. They both kicked up at the same time and stared down. Really, really damn good. Heyman at one point got put through the announce table with the Rock bottom, everything. And despite the fact that The Rock was babyface, they were booing him and cheering Brock. And I think that the reason was, like, the crowd probably had to have known that The Rock was disappearing after this, because, like, he had to do movies and everything. Like, I don't remember if it was, like, Scorpion King or whatever he was filming after this, because, like, but I know he was gone for several months after this, and they would come back with Hollywood Rock. But Brock, you'll get the F5, beat The Rock to become the youngest ever WWE champion. Not the youngest ever world champion, because that'll be beaten by Randy Orton the next year, or a couple years later at SummerSlam 04, but in terms of being the youngest ever champion to hold, or a guy to hold the WWE Championship specifically, Brock broke the record, because I think the previous record before this was Yokozuna, back in, like, when he won it in 93. So, Brock wins, he's the new champion, crowd loves it, and it's not one of those Bizarro World type of crowd reactions, because, like, they weren't reacting this way throughout anybody else's matches. And then it was shown later on that after the show, The Rock cut a promo pretty much turning heel on the crowd, being like, oh, sing along with The Rock is over, shove it up your candy asses, and, like, and all that shit. So then the next time we would see Rock would be several months later, Hollywood Rock is here, and all that other stuff. But that was actually a great way to close the show, great main event and all. So yeah, this for everybody who's saying this is the greatest SummerSlam of all time, you are correct. I wholeheartedly agree. Because, like, Kurt Angle Ray, great way to start the show. Rick Jericho, like I said, I wish they would have worked on, like, did a better way to build up to that finish, because, like, it felt like it didn't really work well. Edge Eddie, it defied logic from what I saw. Tag match was fine, nothing standoutish. Intercontinental Championship match, great. Undertaker Test was a letdown, and then the last two matches, unbelievable. Unbelievable. A lot of high-quality stuff on the show with, like I said, some nitpicks, but so you can't go wrong with the show. Like I said, this is the best SummerSlam. I feel above, like, 2013, above 91, above 2001 as well, and even 2000. Like, if you have never seen SummerSlam 2002, you are doing yourself a disservice. Please watch this show if you can find a way to find it. Like, because I don't know if it's on any services or anything, because Netflix and all them and are never really consistent with what catalog of content they got. But just let me know in the comment section below. For everybody who's seen SummerSlam 2002, what did y'all think about it? Like I said, 2 thumbs up. You gotta love it. And like I said, match of the night, Shawn Triple H. One of the best matches of the year, period. Hands down. So let me know y'all thought in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's episode of the podcast, folks, please remember, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell, turn on here on YouTube, comment what you thought below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for listening, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, and good day, everybody.